increases complexity in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think about that long arc of where ultimately it can go? Or is it so much about what is happening on the ground for the business, for the team? How do you think about balancing those?
Yeah,
those
I think
frameworks?
So we've got a pretty wide range of things we work on, right? So if you take an area like augmented reality and some of those things, those may require a little bit further thinking than kind of near term work, and because there may be tools that need to be created, or maybe technology that we need to invent in order to succeed there. But there are other product areas where we have the tools that we need to go after things, and the technology exists. It's just about what design decisions do you need to make, what kind of product strategy decisions do you need to make in order to give yourself the direction and the kind of path to run on. So, I think that the best work definitely happens where the art and science are coming together, right? That goes back to the ILM stuff. Like, a lot of my passion is around when art and science comes together, like magic can happen. And so there are areas where technology gets pushed a little bit by the art, where we might be able to, our 3D people may be able to show off something that you can't do in real time yet. But maybe through close collaboration, we can get pretty close and make something great, right? So those cases are awesome. And then there are other cases where it's a little bit more, it's still a hard problem to crack, but technology isn't a limitation, right? It's just more about our decision-making process.
I really want to dig into the engineering thing. Like, how do those two cultures interact? Obviously, since the founding of the product, it's such an important role.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things I think about Instagram is that we've got a really great engineering culture. It's also a culture that cares about craft, and that's set by co-founder Mike, I'd say. Mike and Kevin both were working, next to each other on this product for a long time and thinking about the design and the engineering. And so I think we've been able to keep that culture alive. I think we wouldn't be able to deliver, designing beautiful things is great, but if you can't deliver on that, right, then it's not worth it. It's just pretty pictures and or a pretty concept video. So you need engineering partners who are ready to kind of step up and get to that level, get to the vision, push to that. And that can be really challenging sometimes. And so that takes both engineers who are in it for the right reasons as well and have the shared value and are skilled enough to kind of push the state of the art in some cases. And then there needs to be a great kind of culture of partnership, so that design can, not just say, here's where you need to hit or we failed, but that there is a good kind of push and pull to get to something great.
When you say craft and engineering, I think a lot of viewers are going to think, well, what does that mean? How can it's just lines of code?
Sure. So, I mean, if you talk to engineers in detail, there's an idea of elegant solutions to engineering problems, right? Or an elegant line of code, or an efficient, set of code, right? And so that's a part of the engineering craft as well, like that efficiency, that something works really well or something that was written really well. Now, you or I may not be able to appreciate that just by looking at it, but you'll for sure feel it, when something performs faster, or maybe the video looks crisper, or even if you get into algorithms and you get into, okay, well, on Instagram your Explorer has lots of content that you like. Well, that's an engineering problem, and it's a little bit of art and science. It's not just check a couple boxes and you'll see, whatever antique watches that you like to see, in your feed. There's a little bit of figuring out what is unique about the things that you like and people who are like you, and serving up the best versions of that content. That is an engineering problem, right? But it takes certain engineers thinking that way to get it right.
Help us out with some of the vernacular here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, really elemental levels, like people think, again, you're talking to my mom, coding, engineering, and I think being here in the Valley and San Francisco, we understand what that means, but a lot of people around the world won't.
So coding is kind of another word for programming.